A blissful morning to everyone watching this video. In this session, I will be sharing with you question answer of chapter Natural Resources. So let's get started. We are going to start with in-text questions first. How is our atmosphere different from the atmospheres on Venus and Mars? The Earth's atmosphere is a mixture of nitrogen 78%, oxygen 21%, and a small fraction of carbon dioxide, water vapor, and other gases. This makes the existence of life possible on the Earth. The atmospheres on Venus and Mars mainly consists of carbon dioxide. The amount of carbon dioxide on these planets can range from 95% to 97%, which does not support life at all. Next question is, how does the atmosphere act as a blanket? The atmosphere acts as a blanket by performing the following functions. It keeps the average temperature of the Earth fairly constant during daytime and even during course of whole year. It prevents sudden increase in temperature during daytime. It slows down the escape of heat from the surface of the Earth into outer space during nighttime and prevents the Earth from freezing. Next question is, what causes wind? An uneven heating of Earth's surface causes wind. On being heated, air becomes lighter and rises up. As a result, region of low pressure is created. Then air from a high pressure region moves to a low pressure region causing wind. How are clouds formed? During daytime, the largest amount of water evaporates from water bodies by the heat of the sun. The hot air carrying water vapor rises up, expands, and cools down after reaching a certain height. It is then condensed as tiny droplets of water. Dust or other suspended particles in the air act as the nucleus for these droplets to form around. These water droplets aggregate, leading to the formation of clouds. When the droplets have grown bigger and heavy, they fall down in the form of rain. Next question is, list any 3 human activities that you think would lead to air pollution. We can have answer like this. 3 human activities that would lead to air pollution are burning of fossil fuels such as coal and petroleum in automobiles, generators, and thermal power plants. Dust from coal mines, stone crushing sites, and fly ash from thermal power plants. Burning of dry leaves and cow dung cakes in household cooking. Next question is, why do organisms need water? Let's see the answer. The organisms need water for different cellular process, for transportation of substances from maintaining the body temperature, for proper digestion of food, for removing waste from the body as sweat, urine, etc. In point number 2, sentence is incomplete. Actually, we can have like this: for transportation of substances from one region of the body to the other region. Next question is, what is the major source of fresh water in the city, town, village where you live? The major source of fresh water in the area where I live is groundwater, which is brought to surface through hand pumps and motor engines. Do you know of any activity which may be polluting this water source? Let's see answer. The groundwater is getting polluted due to dumping of untreated sewage and industrial wastes on ground from where pollutants seep into soil and reach the groundwater. Next question is, how is soil formed? Soil is formed by breaking of rocks through various physical, chemical, and biological processes over a long period of time with the help of following factors. The sun, it causes a heating of rock, which results in creating cracks due to uneven expansion and contraction of large rocks. Water. Flow of water through or over the rocks make the cracks bigger. Also, on freezing, water expands in rock crevices and breaks the rocks. Wind. Strong winds continue to rub against hard rocks and erode them. Living organisms indeed play a very important role. The lichens that grows on rock surface releases certain substances which cause the crack in the surface, leading to powder down and form a thin layer of swell. Other small plants like moss growing on the surface cause the rock to break up further. The roots of big trees sometimes grow into cracks in the rocks, and as the roots grow bigger, the crack is forced bigger. Next question is, what is soil erosion? The removal of top fertile layer of soil by wind, flowing water, heavy rains, deforestation, overgrazing, etc. is called soil erosion. What are the methods of preventing or reducing soil erosion? Let's see answer. The soil erosion can be reduced by the following methods: by covering the bare land with vegetation, by terrace and contour farming on hilly and slopy areas, by plantation of grasses, by making strong embankments along the river banks, etc. What are the different states in which water is found during the water cycle? We can have answer like this. Water is found in three states during water cycle: solid as snow, ice, hail, sleet; liquid as groundwater, river water, etc., and gas as water vapor. Next question. Name two biologically important compounds that contain both oxygen and nitrogen. Two biologically important compounds that contain both oxygen and nitrogen are nucleic acids, DNA and RNA, and proteins. List any three human activities which would lead to an increase in carbon dioxide content of air. Deforestation, human-induced forest fires, and burning of fossil fuels like coal and petroleum for cooking, transportation, industrial purposes are three human activities which would lead to an increase in the carbon dioxide content of air. What is greenhouse effect? We can write like this. The greenhouse effect is an atmospheric phenomenon in which gases like carbon dioxide and methane in atmosphere absorbs the infrared radiation and prevent the escape of heat from the earth into the space and trap it in the atmosphere by keeping the atmosphere warm. What are the two forms of oxygen found in the atmosphere? As you all know, the two forms of oxygen found in the atmosphere are diatomic molecular form with the chemical formula O2 and triatomic molecular form with chemical formula O3 known as ozone gas. Let's have text questions now. First question is, why is atmosphere essential for life? We can have answer similar to question number 2 of InText question, page number 193. Why is water essential for life? Again, we can have answer similar to question number 1 of InText question, page number 194. Question number 3 is, how are living organisms dependent on soil? Are organisms that live in water totally independent of soil as a resource? Almost all living organisms are dependent on the soil directly or indirectly. Plants need soil for getting support as well as nutrients to prepare their food. On the other hand, organisms depend on plants for food and other substances that are essential for life. Herbivores depend directly upon plants and carnivores depend upon animals, which in turn depend upon plants for food. Organisms that live in water are totally independent of the as resource. These organisms depend on aquatic plants for food and other substances. These aquatic plants in turn require minerals for their survival. These minerals are carried to water bodies from soil by rivers, rainwater, etc. Without supply of minerals from the soil to the water bodies, it is impossible to imagine aquatic life. Question number 4 is, you have seen weather reports on television and in newspapers. How do you think we are able to predict the weather? The meteorological department makes weather predictions. It records the atmospheric temperature, low and high pressure areas of a region, direction of wind, dryness or humidity in the air, formation of clouds, etc. It analyzes the recorded information and circulates it on social media such as radio, television, and newspapers. Next question. We know that many human activities lead to increasing level of pollution of the air, water, bodies, and soil. Do you think that isolating these activities to specific and limited areas would help in reducing pollution? We can have answer like this. Yes, definitely. Isolating the pollution related activities to specific and limited areas will reduce air, water, and soil pollution in those areas to some extent. For example, setting up of industries in isolated regions will control pollution to some extent. Pollution caused by these industries will not contaminate water resources, agricultural land. If all the sewage discharge is collected and treated properly before discharging it into water bodies, then it would lead to less water pollution. Question number 6 is, write a note on how forests influence the quality of our air, soil, and water resources. Let's see the answer. Forests are inexhaustible and renewable natural resources which have significant effect on the quality of air, soil, water as follows. They utilize carbon dioxide during the process called as photosynthesis and releases oxygen in turn. Thus, they maintain the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the air. They prevent soil erosion. Roots of plants bind the soil tightly in a way that the surface of the soil cannot be eroded away by wind, water, etc. Forests help in the replenishment of water resources. During the process of transpiration, huge amount of water vapor goes into the air and condenses to form clouds. These clouds cause rainfall that recharge water bodies. Forests also help in recycling of nutrients. The fallen leaves and stems of plants get decomposed and make the soil fertile. Thank you very much for watching this lesson. I'll see you in the next lesson. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy. Goodbye.